Welcome to Faces Friday. I'm Lynn Sherrod. Last week, we had a great conversation about a laser-like focus on students increasing in their learning, their growing, and of course, their achievement. Jill Maar and I had a conversation about how she uses Venn diagrams to really focus in with that laser-like focus on students' achievement. Who the students are, how they're progressing, what else can we do to ensure that they get over the line? As principal, Jill Maar has made a huge difference in every school that she has led. Her outcomes are outstanding. Today we're going to look at T-charts that Jill uses and how she, again, looks very carefully right across a grade level in her school. So let's have a listen. Welcome to Faces Friday. Thanks a lot for joining me. I'm Lynn Sherrod, and we're going to talk about one of my favorite subjects, laser-like focus on data and really understanding who our students are and what their needs are. So I'm joined today by my dear colleague and great friend, Jill Maar. And I know you know Jill because I talk about her often and the leadership she provides in our very large system. And I know, Jill, you moved from Venns to T-charts. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
So the Venn diagrams for me was really helpful in looking at laser-like at classrooms and at individual students and the staff members in those classrooms. But as a lead learner, I needed to understand a school focus in terms of where we were for a variety of reasons. So we moved to a T-chart, which is very simply a large piece of block butcher paper with a T. On one side were the girls, on the other side were the boys for a whole grade. And so we would then have the students that were below and far below, because again, that was my key focus in terms of my early interventions and my support. And each teacher would have a different color posted or a different color label. And they would put their students that were far below or below the expectation at that time on these post-its and what their current readability or reading level was. And they would place them on the chart and the date that they had collected that information. Now, every 4 weeks, those charts needed to be updated. And the stickers moved if they had removed from far below to below. But it allowed me to see my 4 level 3 classrooms, my 4 grade 3 classrooms, all at a snapshot, how many students were struggling in each of those classrooms, so that I could then begin to think about what additional resource allocations I could make to those teachers, to those classrooms for their learnings, how much additional time I needed to engage in conversations about the learning and the teaching in those places, as well as how to continue to balance the work amongst that team of learners. So it gave me a chance to see A, movability, B, an overview of the entire school in terms of the data wall in the area of reading, because our school data wall was much larger. It contained much more information than just reading, but our data showed us consistently in many of the schools I worked in that our children were struggling to learn how to read and then to read to learn. And for me, that was a huge component in terms of improving our overall results.
And you got amazing results.
We had a great team.
Yeah, you and the team. And I write about that often, that this is just not practice without results. This is practice with outcomes that made a difference. I would say every school you were in and continue to support would have the most struggling readers and most struggling students, wouldn't you say?
We had some pretty, yes, I would.
Large schools too, and you've made a huge difference to so many students in our jurisdiction. So thank you, Jill. Thank you for joining me. I really appreciate the specificity that you offer all leaders. Thanks so much.
Thanks very much for having me. Have a good day.
Thanks, Jill. And thanks for joining me on Faces Friday and joining Jill as well for this conversation. See you next Spaces Friday. Thanks. Bye, Jill.
Bye.